Okay. Welcome to the Sidebar Quest. Got some new music rollout going on for y'all.
I'm on a quest to be the best, but these quests are on the side. That's not an issue. We gon' make some time. Whoa. Ric Flair once said to be the best, you have to beat the best. We are on a quest. This quest is on the side. I'm on a quest to be the best, but these quests are on the side. That's not an issue. We gon' make some time. Whoa.
That's right.
Ric Flair once said to be the best, you have to beat the best. We are on a quest. This quest is on the side.
Ooh,
We gotta talk about it.
Come on. You heard the lyrics. We gotta talk about it. Here we are. We got the graphic on the screen. I like that
Now,
WrestleMania Vegas logo. I'm not gonna lie, Razor. Talk to me. Yeah. You
even
was
the
about to get
summertime
something
one.
off right there?
I was gonna say now this is a topic that I've seen explode all over the internet these last couple days specifically because it's something that whether we would like it to happen or not, it seems like it's very much going to be a reality, and that it's the big four. I've even heard Money in the Bank being included, so maybe the big five, quote unquote, could be 2 night events.
Now, hear me out. I think it could work. And I think it could work for all different reasons. The one I might be reaching for the most may be SummerSlam. That's the reach right there.
I say the rich
But
would be that or Money in the Bank.
yeah, Money in the Bank is definite reach if they go 2 night. I mean, but there's it's not so much a reach, and I could get into it. But look, we've been going
Get
five
into
match
it.
format. Yeah, we've been 5 match formats. So under that, it seems like it's been working. Now, WrestleMania, we've seen that format for the last few years. It's been working so far. It's been working better these last 2 3 years. Been working better. Survivor Series and Royal Rumble. Those two have matches that can be split on 2 nights. We can have the women's Royal Rumble on one night, the men's Royal Rumble on the next night.
Okay.
Survivor Series. If we continue in War Games, we could have one woman's War Game on one night, one's men on the next.
I see you and
SummerSlam,
I
I
raised
can't
you.
just. Go ahead.
So mainly for Survivor Series, what we now this could be a little bit overboard, but this is the way my brain's functioning right now. One night you could have the either a traditional Survivor Series match, maybe even a War Games that's still up in the air. But for the other night, whether it be the first or second night, why not throw in the King of the Ring tournament in there?
See,
Give
now I
both
was gonna
nights
be.
give both
Mhm.
nights a specific purpose.
See, I was gonna be on board if you said one night is War Games and then the other night is Survivor Series or either or.
You could
Like,
do something like that too.
yeah, because then it'll kind of like justify the name Survivor Series War Games. Like, I haven't seen nothing Survivor Series since like fuck 4 years ago. Like, related to the actual Survivor Series match. Like, there was a match designed for that name. I haven't seen that portion because War Games is not an elimination match. It's kind of the opposite. We wait for everybody to get in.
First to a pinfall or submission.
Yeah, and we gotta wait for everybody to get in the match to then start the shit. Like, so I mean, for me, I'm with you there. I could go 2 nights having separate themes, and I'm fine with that. That's actually clever. The one
So
that
what
is I'm having a hard time justifying the SummerSlam. It gotta really feel like how I did this year, like baby WrestleMania vibes, like you know, really make it the biggest party of the summer, like it was once advertised to be.
and here's the issue with Mania and SummerSlam. The difference in time on average is 4 months, maybe even 3.5, depending on how early you're gonna have SummerSlam in the summer. So, is that enough time? My next question would be: again, let's be honest. This year's SummerSlam was special. Question
It was
A:
cool, but it
how do
didn't
we
need a
rep?
second night. Hmm.
Also, I'm saying like again with how action packed this one was, how the hell do you break it into 2 nights?
Mm.
Well, again, I said Mania. That's an easy one. Survivor Series kind of writes itself. Rumble, you can stretch it out long enough. But with SummerSlam, it's like
And then now, if I mean, check this out though. Hear me out. I know this is gonna sound corny, but it's a stretch. The winners of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament from this year went on and got a title shot at SummerSlam. Each winner
correct.
gets a night. It's corny, but
But
it
but again, that's 2 matches out of the plausible
10
8 to 10
at
to win
least.
both nights,
Right. I mean,
and
but
it's one of those.
now, hold on. We got the women's now in the Continental US Women's Championships now. We still got the Intercontinental Championship, US. Like actually now we can highlight all of these belts now and not feel like, damn, how do we have 5 matches and none of them were a tag team championship match? None of them were the Intercontinental, none of them were the US. Like, I'll be damned
Okay,
if we got 2 nights and they still don't put any of those championships on it. That's insane. That'll be just down.
I'm glad you segued down that avenue because that's one of the reasons why I touched on maybe having like a King of the Ring or something else incorporated with one of these big 4 or 5 pay per views, and that might be the easiest fit for SummerSlam. But the reason why I bring that up is if you say whether it's King of the Ring or something like that, you incorporate that say with the SummerSlam, that leaves a spot in the calendar year to do something that I've been talking about for the most of this year, and means we could finally get maybe Evolution to be an annual PLE.
Okay. Throw something else in the mix.
Just mix it up. So you still have the normal like monthly PLEs or whatever, however they're spaced out. But
I
like I
mean,
said,
we've been crying,
Mania could
not crying, but Cyber
Mania could
Sunday.
be what it is. Rumble you could have, like I said, you could mix and match. Like the women could main event one night, men could main event the other one. Survivor Series you could have the War Games one night, the old school traditional stuff the other night. SummerSlam
I love that idea, bro. I'm sorry,
one
Mike.
night SummerSlam one night you can have, like I said, maybe the Kingdom tournament, and the following night could be the big main matches, and then that would leave room on the calendar for the annual Women's Evolution PLE.
Because on one end, I just like this. I want to go back to the idea of Survivor Series for a second. I think that one lines up with the idea of brand supremacy and it meaning something, because you can either have the war games match or to blow off a feud, like like we seen with the bloodline for the last few years or whatever the case was, just any other teams. Then you got the actual Survivor Series match, which we can use this like, okay, the brand that wins this gets number 30 in the Royal Rumble, the good old. So I like that theory for 2 nights for Survivor Series, or whatever implication. It could be a simple feud blow off too for Survivor Series match. But I like the Raw versus SmackDown idea. It meaning something, somebody gaining something for their brand. And
So
SummerSlam is just a hard reach to me.
and like I said, and then I feel like incorporating another stipulation might help it, or at least it'd be a worthy experiment for it. But like I said, at least with that experiment, that opens the door for, like I said, evolution or another PLE that they could incorporate to and make a new annual tradition, so to speak.
Yup, I agree with that. Let me see. What I don't know. Maybe they go away with Money in the Bank and add it to SummerSlam night two.
But also there's talk that maybe Money in the Bank itself would be its own 2 night thing, and
I
again
mean
I don't know.
that one too can be done. But now we have been, to like you said about the. I mean, it would have to be a point. I think if you're gonna make, you gotta just make all of them 2 nights, even Elimination Chamber, and do what we basically saying. You instead of having two chamber matches in one night, you're gonna have one night, whether it's a intercontinental chamber match, and the next night it's a tag team chamber match. Whatever the hell y'all doing for that year, but it just doesn't make sense to go outside the major four PLEs and try to make money in the bank something.
But also let's look at Chamber for example, because Rumble will be February, Chamber be March, mainly be April. So 3 straight months or 2 night events.
Again, though, it's how bad do we want it? Do we need it? Are they gonna put on the like? It's safe to say I haven't seen a whack like important WWE PLE in a while, in my opinion. Like
Well,
even
overall,
if there could have been better matches, the vibe of the night still felt important. You'll have a Jelly Roll performing in the ring or or like you have these important appearances from celebrities and shit going on. Logan Paul,
and then we'll get certain segments, i.e., the I Quit match with Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles, where the finish was what it was.
but the fuck right, that shit was fucking terrible. The rest of the pay per view was a little solid, decent, but that shit was, and that crowd was amazing too. That's the whack part about that one. But we spoke on this. I think that one was probably the worst. If we had to put a stamp on one of the worst pay per views of the year, PLEs, that might have been it by default of that.
Yeah.
Like everything was special this year almost to me. Like you talk about Tiff, like the King and Queen of Rings made SummerSlam a special moment for Nia Jax. Tiffany winning her Money in the Bank made it a special moment.
Chelsea falling off the ladder through the tables made her.
The clash at Glasgow meant something. Maybe Berlin was probably another one that's kind of like dismissible a little bit, I guess. Unless something happened there that I'm forgetting. But that was Randy and Gunther. I, I mean,
Didn't we also get Drew and Priest as well? Which was the PLE where Punk ran out with the ref with Jessica Carr's ref shirt?
that was in Glasgow.
Okay.
No, was it?
Yeah, because Berlin was Priest and Gunther.
Nah. Berlin was Randy and Gunther. Remember Randy wore the red out there and was fronting like he had German in,
What
like he was
was
from Germany.
Priest and Gunther then?
That was at SummerSlam. Cause cause Gunther had the championship
That's right.
opportunity.
Yeah, that's
So that
right.
was Ohio. I think Priest and Seth Rollins was in either before that or at that
Yeah,
PLE.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah. Which that wasn't a bad match if that was there, Priest and Rollins.
that's when Priest got knocked out for a little bit.
No, that wasn't Priest and Rollins though, because Berlin came after SummerSlam at the end of the month. At that point,
Right.
Gunther has the
Was it a?
championship.
Am I
And
thinking of a
Randy,
Saudi show then?
we possibly are. No, because Gunther's Saudi show was against Cody.
Cody. Yeah, but how many Saudi shows are this year? 2 or 3?
Then that's another thing. Do they make Saudi shows 2 nights?
If they get a Mania, it's going to be 2 nights. Which again, I'm not mad at the 10 a.m. starts my time, but
I think
Yeah.
honestly, for me, to be honest, it's kind of like the long term shit we was talking about in the SmackDown recap. I'm more okay if a bunch of storylines come to a conclusion. Like if we need to put matches to fill out whatever the second match of the night, Otis and Gable, we can have that on a night one of SummerSlam or night two. You know what I'm saying? And then on the other side, we could have had the tag team, which I haven't seen a tag team belt defended on a PLE in a long time either. Like we could have the Judgment Day. Well, they lost now, but at that time, instead of Finn just trying to help Damian go against him or cost him, actually, I should say, they could have been defending those things on a PLE.
Another question we haven't really quite dove into yet is should the big 4 or 5 PLEs go to 2 nights? Does that mean we're still going to get a PLE every 3 to 5 weeks, or will they cut back on PLEs?
Nah, I think again, I think there's a way to keep. We've seen it with Drew and Punk. There's a way to keep things going. Just because there's a PLE every cup, I just think it's giving more opportunities for other people to be seen on the biggest stage that they weren't on before or that they haven't been on in a while. And I think that's the importance for me. Like I get, do we want to be here for 2 nights? But I'd rather be here for 2 nights than one whole day and night. If that makes sense. Remember when we used to be here for days and nights? It'd be a long ass pre-show. The pay-per-view would start in daytime and end at nighttime. Like just visually, you see it start with the sun out and it ends with the
Hmm.
night. I'm okay with having two, one day and two. It gives it room. And low key, the second night kind of feels important. And going forward, like, do you want to be on night one card of WrestleMania, or do you want to be ending out on that Sunday, going into Monday, so that the first thing everybody's talking about on Monday morning when they going to school, going to, like that Sunday feel is a different feel to me. I'm gonna be honest. Saturday, you got Sunday to kind of breeze over, and then Monday you kind of talk about it, but fresh off the press, Sunday WrestleMania ended at 11 p.m. You chances are you might listen to a recap like ours or go to sleep, and then the next morning you'll listen to the recap. But everybody's talking about it that Monday. I think that
Yeah.
it's healthy competition within themselves if they got no other competition. To be honest, now if it becomes stale, then yeah, we got a problem. We shouldn't. But
But
if
also,
yeah.
my bigger question is: so look at Survivor Series and Rumble, for example. Should they go to 2 nights? You, you dipping into NFL territory now, given the season.
Mm-hmm.
Could that possibly affect where they plan on booking?
It definitely can.
Also,
But they
also
mm-hmm.
another question is a lot of the shows this year, for example, were overseas.
I was just about to get to that.
How the hell are you gonna pull that off back to back nights or days by the time we get to watch it?
With the way they selling those gates, I think that'll be the least of their concern because the money's gonna be made for the PLE, and it look like they're not really worried about generating money from the views itself because they're getting paid from so many different ways. Like they're getting paid, like the advertisers are paying them to be on their stuff. It's not
Have
like,
you seen the price on some of their tickets lately?
man, right? And then it's getting to the point. Like I had to. This is why I asked you about why do numbers matter in a generation where people don't even quote unquote watch cable television anymore. So I have
Well,
to, like, I don't understand have to brag and talk about that when a lot of people that's like I personally know, or a lot of people that yip yap on the internet, they either watching highlights, watching stream. They don't actually have a cable box in their house to give this fucking viewership that they sitting there yip yapping about.
okay, so now here's my rebuttal on that, and it's very short and sweet. WWE managed to get the numbers for Peacock. What's going to stop AEW from pulling the numbers from HBO Max week to week?
And this is what I'm saying. There's there extra, you know how in music there's like, or even in streaming, there's like
There's
stream
ways to
numbers.
calculate it for
Yeah,
their
there's
real
stream
numbers.
numbers. Yeah.
There's, and all I'm sure just like how Debbie would reach out to Nielsen and all that for the numbers and whatnot, it's equally accessible for streaming apps like a Netflix, a Peacock, Hulu, Max, Disney Plus. You
And
just
that's why I
gotta
think
go out and
WWE
get
is
it.
okay. Cause from what our understanding of the deal is this: Netflix, Peacock, they're paying WWE up front this amount of money to have their programming, right? Whatever Netflix, and let's say how much Netflix paid WWE, 500 million or whatever it
5
was.
billion or something like that.
Let's say they generate more than that. WWE can't go knocking on their door saying, "Hey, unless it's in their contract now, which that's a part of the deal I haven't seen, but from my understanding, they can't go knocking on Netflix door saying, "Oh, we want a PC of everybody that bought Netflix just to watch WWE programming."
But they will have the access to say who accessed the feed for Raw on this day or whatever, boom, 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 while they were on the air live.
Yeah,
And
no,
they
and
and
that
they
my,
will
my
and they
point
will
is
have
that's
access
why,
to, and they will have access to see how people are watching VOD.
and
But
that's my point why they wouldn't
my
shy
point
away
being,
from it.
but my point being is that AEW is going to be on Max next week basically. So at any point in time, Tony Khan can actually pull up the actual logical numbers. Will they be fabricated still on his end? More than likely, but at least on WWE's end. Uh, Triple H was asked on his comments on the Jake Paul Tyson buffer issues on Netflix, and they asked, "Do they plan to talk to Netflix about the buffering issues?" All Triple H said is, "Look, if we're getting 60, 70 million people watching our shows, I don't care how bad it buffers. That's 60, 70 million people."
Yeah, and I don't know what numbers NFL did, but I was watching the Christmas games on Netflix. Looked flawless, looked amazing.
Hmm.
Beyonce was halftime performing. Everything was going. It felt like a Super Bowl. Like I never watched a football game like that on Christmas. That I was like, whoa, they doing all this right now? Like, hold on. So, I mean, I got faith that it's gonna run smooth. I think that it's a rare instance. Like boxing has a, and that's a big fight when it's
So
advertised it
on
that way.
Christmas,
Like,
the NFL averaged 67 million people. So roughly, they pulled the same numbers as Tyson and Jake Paul.
and they did fine. I didn't have no buffering going on.
But again, even if it
NFL
were
got
to
a lot to
buffer,
cover. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure they got the money for the tech equipment. Unlike Jake Paul, nothing against Jake. It's just again, NFL, that's a $1 billion company.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like what the Triple H said, like if you got 60 to 70 million people watching and it's crashing, you had that people watching that want to watch your content. You got a good problem to have.
Cause I think WWE is fucking smart as fuck. They're doing the opposite of what AEW is doing, which is AEW continues to book large arenas that they can't fill. WWE
Not
has run
anymore.
away from they. You see, like so now they finally changed. WWE has run away from that method. Remember when it was a few months ago when they started saying, "Oh, they're gonna make these intimate sets to fit in more people and stuff," and like
Yeah, they
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 was
cut they cut back on their own production to put more asses in seats.
yes, and instead of taping things off, taping off seats that like okay, some people can't afford the front row seats. At least they could view from over. So it's a lot of things that they fixed and did instead of just
Yeah,
oh and
because
all right, we can't
off
do
the top
American
off,
shows.
off the top of my
overseas.
head, the next quote unquote big building that AEW is going to try to run in a couple months is the Cryptocurrency Center, formerly known
Which
as Staples Center.
and then they got the Texas show, which is pretty. I heard it sold out
That's in the
good.
summer.
Okay, yeah, and then that one sold out good. So allegedly,
The
they said,
define good.
yeah.
So again, it's where the Rangers play. It's a baseball venue. If you use the grass, depending on the production setup, you might be able to fit 45 to 48,000 people there. You only set the bitch up for 20,000 people. Yes, you got allegedly got 10,000 tickets sold already. The show's 6.5 months away. Good for you. But
Mm.
again, why attempt the big buildings if you're struggling to fill your backyard? They were just at Hammerstein Ballroom, and they
Again, look,
barely got half capacity out of that.
and then look at the conversations we having, right? WWE going 2 nights versus AEW can't even fill a venue. I think WWE has a good problem on their hands.
Because for Raw and SmackDown, WWE averages what 11 to 15,000 people, easy. Whether it's a PLE, they average anywhere from 18 to 50 plus thousand people, depending on where they're going to be at. Allegiant Stadium, that if it's sold out both nights combined, that's just under 100,000 people.
And they captured the formula for, or what I would think is the formula for that don't miss, can't miss moments. Like,
With the influence of social media now, with what we've seen with Kevin Owens as of late.
yeah, like you you know how many people were probably disappointed that they didn't buy a ticket to go watch Bad Blood just to see The Rock, the final boss, come out, the final moments, and make that gesture at the end, just to be there for that moment.
Or even last year, the return of CM Punk in Chicago.
Oh, definitely disappointed. You seen that dude, Chicago? He knew he was ready. He man. He probably didn't
Whatever
know, but
happened
I'm
to that
saying though,
guy?
he, right? Like they should. Yeah, he should have had a moment in life for real, because
Just
he was going hard.
Chicago, Chicago,
Chicago. Yeah, he was going hard. Like, yeah,
or
you want
or
to be
or,
in the building.
or even Mania a couple years ago when everyone knew Cody was coming back, but no one knew that Cody was getting his American Nightmare shtick from AEW.
Right. You just yeah. You have suspicion. It's always it's a difference between having suspicion and confirmation. The confirmation part hits, and when you're not there for that, you kind of get disappointed.
And then I told you tickets are, I think they might still be on sale for the Netflix show, but the only reason why I gotta take a slight pass on that is because I'm trying to hit up the New Japan show in San Jose the following weekend.
Okay.
So my money would be stretched a little thin between those 2 weeks right there. It's either I won't have no gas money for work, or I won't have food for a week.
Feel that.
Otherwise,
I
I'd be
feel
at
that.
both shows.
But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much we covered a lot on the 2 nights. Um, yeah, if they really end up
If they
doing
can
that though,
pull it off, holy shit!
man. And since we was talking about AEW chat, we got two more topics that'll transition us right into them talks. So I appreciate you guys sticking with us. We're gonna do the countdown. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, stay in the mix, stay in the convo with us. You see our at names down there. Don't forget to follow us on X. Keep the conversations going with us over there. Stay up to date on everything. And yeah, we're gonna be right back. We're gonna bring that countdown to y'all. Stay fresh, y'all. Come on.